Okay, 1 second. Make sure that y'all can see. Everything clearly. Okay. First of all, welcome back. We should be okay. The light behind me is going to continue to dim as the sun sets. At any rate, let me continue here. First of all, I want to welcome everyone back to the channel as we prepare to do another video. This is going to be pertaining to the law. And that in mind, I'm going to actually continue where we left off with part 3 of the board, the chairman, and the CEO. I'm going to start by asking this question. Do we know who this is? Most people believe that they know who this is. And you see the name on the nameplate, okay? Bishop A.D. Cunningham. Now that's the name that's on the nameplate. It says above that, the Honorable. However, what we're showing you is that there's nothing honorable going on with this individual. I shared before in a video, a few videos, that looks can be deceiving. And what we're seeing, quite frankly, are looks that are deceiving. What I mean is the subject of this video. We have in this book, let me pull up another picture. Here. Okay. In the back of the book, here he is doing a wave, the tsunami wave, they call it. Okay. But look at where he's sitting. The chair there and the desk. Okay. That chair and the desk is supposed to be completely separate from the chair up here. He's sitting in a chair down here where this desk is, but there's another chair behind him. Okay. We need, as members of the organization, to understand that these are 2 different chairs. And the law of the land recognizes only one of these chairs. The law of the land recognizes, for business purposes, this chair. Now, this chair is being used for 2 different reasons. And I'm going to explain to you how the members keep getting this thing mixed up. So, you see, one more time, this chair is not the same as this chair. And this chair is not the same as this chair. Okay. Now, there's 3 different seats that our members don't understand that currently one person is sitting in. There's 3 different chairs. There is the chair of the bishop. Then there is the chair of the CEO. Then there is the chair of a judge. There's a bishop. The bishop sits in that seat. I need you all to understand what I'm telling you. The bishop sits in this chair. The bishop does not make decisions. The bishop does not do any business from this chair. This chair is completely separate from the business side of the organization. This is what everyone really needs to understand. This is completely separate. This chair that he's sitting in, and you see the corner of it, okay? This is a completely different chair that he's sitting in, okay? This chair is, look at what it says, the Honorable Bishop A.D. Cunningham, okay? And you see that right there. That mallet, that's for the judge. That's whenever he's in council. And the council becomes what we call in the house of prayer, Supreme Court. So he is called by the law of the house of prayer, written by the bishop. He's called Your Honor Supreme. Not because the members came up with this, but because the bishops wrote that. So I'm going to be covering and showing you how the bishops write laws, and then they give those laws for the members to be enforced by, regardless of whether or not the members had any part in making these laws or ratifying. We talked about that word. Let me get to this other chair. Again, the chair he's sitting in, that's the chair for the court, okay? For the court. This is the chair for the bishop. This is the judge, that's the bishop. Now, here he is known as the Supreme in court. Your Honor Supreme is what you call him, okay? Now, I'm pretty certain that they don't understand because this seat is supposed to be the seat of the CEO. But what you will see is still right here, you see a mallet on the desk right there. Now, the mallet is not necessary unless you're ruling over a meeting. Now, the problem with this setup is this setup, I believe, is during court, because I see staff off to the side. I see his wife off to the side. I see over here is his wife and Mrs. Commodore, okay? Mr. Commodore's wife. and I see the maids. So this tells me that this is court also. However, I want y'all to think, for all of you who have been to the General Assembly, I want you to imagine how he comes into the General Assembly. The General Assembly, the people are there waiting, and then he comes in late, 2, 3, 4 hours late. And by the time he gets there, the people, they rise. The General Assembly secretary has them stand up and welcome him. Okay. All that aside, we need to understand, once again, that there's a difference in the chairs. Once you understand the difference in the chairs, then it's easy to understand the board, the chairman, and the CEO. As we currently know it in the House of Prayer, the man who sits in the chair of the bishop is known also as the CEO. Two roles, two completely different positions being filled by the same person. Now, in the law of the land, that would be a contradiction. It works for some as long as you keep things separate. In the house of prayer, it is intended on purpose to merge the business side and the religious side and the business side. It's meant to merge them. So the members in the house of prayer are tricked over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm going to tell you how. And matter of fact, I'm going to do that in a moment. No, let me do that now. The members of the house of prayer are tricked. Okay. When he comes in, everyone sees the bishop. Why does everyone see the bishop? Because the general counsel's job is to hype up the people. They hype up the people. Now, I want to carry you to the service of the house of prayer. First of all, you have services starting up, testimony service, and then as he's arriving, you have somebody that takes the front and they begin to tell everyone that he's on his way. He's on his way. And they say things like, the man of God, the greatest man in the land today. None of this is actual, but this is the service in the United House of Prayer for All People. This is the false doctrine that's being taught. So the people are being lifted up. Mr. Taylor, Mr. Commodore, Mr. Jimmy Jones, which is a problem for Mr. Jimmy Jones because Mr. Jimmy Jones is the General Assembly Secretary as we speak. His job is supposed to be representing the people and the best interest of the organization by fulfilling the obligation within the General Assembly to make sure that it is ran according to Robert's Rules of Orders. Now we're going to come back to that in perhaps the next video. But during the service time, what they do is hype the people up for the bishop. So they get the people hyped as he comes in the door. Get the people hyped. Here he is. Hype. And then the whole service revolves around Mr. Bishop. Okay? The bishop. The entire service revolves around the bishop. Has nothing to do with our Heavenly Father. It has nothing whatsoever to do with the Messiah. The entire service of the organization, known as the United House of Prayer for All People, is revolving around the bishop. It is his service, it's in his honor, it's for his pleasure. He's the one being exalted, he's the one being lifted up, he's the one being praised. And if you remember, he said it's okay to worship a man. Well, remember in some of the videos, you see the man being all of this. That's for the man. That's for the man. This, their eyes, the direction of their attention is all for the man. All of it has nothing to do with him. So the people, their attention is drawn to the one in front of them. Their attention is not drawn above the devotion, the loyalty, the dedication, along with the praises and the worship. It's not directed above, it's directed in front of you. All attention is directed to the front. So the men on the council, the chairmen, the pastors, their job given to them is to lift up the man. Every one of them, their job is to lift up that man. I don't care where you go. I don't care what the event is. I don't care what city you're in. I don't care who's on program. Every single pastor, every single chairman, every single one, their job is to lift up the man. Now, as he comes in and goes up to the seat, he stands in front of the chair after kneeling down, raising his hands, and he says whatever, okay? All of this is for show, it's for entertainment, because he knows that he's not serving him. He knows for a fact that he's not serving him. This is for show, it's for entertainment. But they have to sell the image that he is indeed serving him, because to get the people to believe in him is to get the money. So if we convince the people to believe in the man, that he is who we say he is, then the money will come, because they teach the people in order to obey him, you must obey the man. And in order to receive blessings from above, you must bless and give money to the man. Period. The only thing being done in the entire organization for the people is selling them the idea that all of their blessings from above, from heaven, comes through the man. That's all the entire premise of the doctrine is founded on. Everything that you need from above comes through the man. For the people who believe it, like I did for over 40 years, for the people who believe it, then you give to that man your devotion, you give your time, you give your attention, and you give money over and 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 over again, all year round, every single year. The pastor's and the chairman's job is to have you direct all your attention, your time, your energy, your effort into praising, exalting, lifting, and worshiping the man. And if you do that and give him as much money as you can, then your blessings will flow from him. However, you will never, ever, 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 ever see the man do anything that Bible says that the Messiah did or that the disciples did when it comes to living, when it comes to teaching. He cannot teach what the Messiah taught. He cannot teach what the disciples taught. It is impossible for anybody sitting in the seat of the bishop of this institution or any other organization like this one. It's impossible for them to teach or live the life that the Messiah lived and the disciples, or to teach what they taught, because in order to teach what the Messiah taught, what the disciples taught, you cannot be taking all this money and making yourself rich. You cannot teach the straightforward doctrine. You cannot teach the straightforward, pure truth. You cannot teach the gospel that was left by the Messiah if you are hoarding money and making yourself rich. If you are controlling money that does not belong to you and you're using none of it whatsoever to help the people who are poor, who are needy, who are homeless, who don't have clothing, who are in positions that they need assistance in various situations in their lives. The purpose of the disciples going around with the Messiah was to observe him helping the people by healing the people, by casting out spirits, by raising the dead, by giving sight to the blind, making the lame walk, healing the sick. He did all these things, including healed a paralytic. He cleansed lepers. He made the dumb, mute people, he made them speak. He gave walking to the lame. All these things he went around to the people that were despised in the eyes of the people that were high class citizens, the people who had material things, the people who had worldly possessions, the people who had money, the people who were considered aristocrats, who were considered the leaders, the people who were sedity, the people who had the best of clothing and the biggest of houses. Those people looked down on the people who were in need, which is why there's a story of a rich man who gave nothing whatsoever to a poor man who asked him simply for something to eat. Now, if you sit in that chair, you cannot teach the gospel. You can't preach the word. So the apostles in the house of prayer, which are fake apostles, these are not apostles like the disciples. These are not men that were sent out by the Messiah. These are men that were made by the false bishop. Now, they must lift him up. They have to exalt him. They have to, because that's where the people keep their attention and they keep paying money. So essentially, what they don't realize, like I didn't realize for over 4 decades, is that we're trying to buy blessings. I'm going to say that again. I did not realize that we were trying to buy blessings. And then there's a thing that's said over and over and over and over and over again about working out your soul's salvation. They have to push this narrative. And let me get back to the chair. I don't want to go too far off topic. So by telling people you have to work out your soul's salvation, works, whenever that word works is used in the house of prayer, it literally means giving money, giving more money, more money, more money. So in doing this, the chair becomes of the most significance. So what happens is in every single facet of the organization, that chair is lifted up. And the idea of the man comes from whatever person the general counsel has been told to exalt in front of the people and give them respect so that they can ultimately put them in the chair. So when I say that Mr. Cunningham, he fixed everything in the election so that he could be put into the chair, it's not because he did it by himself. He did it with the assistance of the general counsel, with the assistance of the chairmans. You all remember, Mr. Lattisaw gave speeches on behalf of the senior minister. Mr. Taylor, Jock Taylor, gave speeches on behalf of the senior minister. Mr. Sutton, Mr. Gibbs, Judge Gibbs, Apostle Gibbs, Apostle Sutton, fake apostles, I call them Mr., gave speeches on behalf of Mr. Cunningham before the election. Why? Because they were prepping the people to receive Mr. Cunningham. So he wasn't in the chair, but how do you tie the chair into this? They say, because Addie's not gone, even though Addie Bailey has passed on. Addie is still here. He's still in our midst. He just hasn't been revealed yet. That's how you hype the people up, to prepare them to receive the one who they're prepping you to receive. And so they would say things like, don't y'all feel him in the building? And the people fall for this. So then the day of the election came, and when they worked the election to have him put in the seat, now people see, after hearing all that time about Cunningham, now they see him sit down in the seat. And because the chair is so important, that solidifies in the minds of the people that he now must be from him. So now the rest of the okey doke has to be to keep the people excited to see him come in and sit in the chair. Because as long as you see him sitting in the chair, you will associate him for being a man that came from him. But this is the con. Now, let me show you how this works with the laws. By keeping you excited about that chair, what have they done to the minds of the members of the house of prayer? They hype them up in service. But how many of you all have had a club meeting? And when you had a club meeting, how many times do y'all have testimony service in your club meetings? How many times are y'all playing, hearing band music in your club meeting? How many times are people shouting in your club meetings? In your club meeting, you're coming together so that y'all can talk. In your club meeting, you're coming together so y'all can handle business. In your club meeting, at the end of every roll call, if there's a member that's not present, that member is supposed to be written down by the recording secretary as absent. And then you continue in your meeting. You move from the roll call and you immediately have the minutes read. You don't pause and you don't wait. The president is not excused from your meetings. And then the club sit back and wait on the president for an hour, for 2 hours to get there. And then the president of the meeting, of the club, come walking in, and the whole club, let's say it's an usher board, the whole club stands up. Let's welcome the president of the number one ushers. Are y'all seeing the con? That's not how a meeting is run. But the members of the house of prayer have been tricked by the councilmen, by your chairmans, by your pastors into telling you over and over and over, whenever you go and lay eyes on the man, it's a blessing. Whenever you go and you're in the company of the man, it's a blessing. For you to not look at that man as an ordinary man. Mr. Cunningham himself said it, that when the scripture says, put your trust in no man, put your trust in no man. Mr. Cunningham said that does not include him because he's not a man. He's not an ordinary man. No, Mr. Cunningham told everybody that he's a God. So he says to not think that that scripture is applied to him. And if you put your trust in him as a God, then what you've done is began to worship an idol. And this is what we've been doing, unfortunately, without knowing it, without realizing it, because we've been believing the lies that we thought were true. So they lift up the chair, and now the meeting of the house of prayer becomes similar to a service. So now the people in the meeting, they see the council sitting up in the front. It looks like a service. They see a councilman walk across the floor and take the mic. It looks like the beginning of a service. They see a councilman talking like he's starting up the testimony service. And it reminds the people of a service. And then when the man walks in the door, they tell the people he's here, he's here. They have the people all rise, stand up, make your way to the aisle. To see him come down the middle aisle the same way as he comes inside of service. The feeling is the same. The atmosphere is the same. The environment is the same. It sounds the same. It looks the same. And the council is treating it as the same because they need to trick the people into believing that you're in a service, even though you're in a meeting. And since it worked and they played a trick on our minds, we're sitting in a meeting while the meeting is being conducted as if we're in a service. And we watch the man walk in with admiration and adoration, people adoring him, admiring him with smiles. And the council is leading in song, right? Oh, 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 yeah. By day I often. But the one song that they normally sing is I'm calling and he's my rock, he's my rock, he's my rock. And everybody call, singing. Oh, I call him in the morning, I call him late at night. And the council, they rocking that microphone. Ooh, seek and ye shall find. Oh, knock and the door will be opened. Oh, I call. And the whole house, I'm calling her. He is my rock. We're in a meeting now. And then he gets to the front. Shh, 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 shh. Let us quiet down, quiet down, quiet down. Let us all bow our heads in prayer with the man, they say, of God and people. But you're in a meeting. They forgot because it feels like, looks like, sound like, seems like service. So what does he do? He goes up to the chair. He goes up to that chair. And then he stands. Look on him, look on him, look on him, look on him, look on him. Wave, 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 wave. Receive your blessing. Receive your blessing. Receive. How many of y'all ever seen in the scripture where the Messiah or anybody else stood in front of a group of people and just waved, and they were told to wave at them and receive your blessings? Just grab your blessings. But then after that, he steps down. And that's when he takes a seat in the other chair. But the con has been played because now you see him, the bishop, about to take control of the business side of the organization. And the business side of the organization is the CEO. But since he's the bishop, you don't even question whether or not the CEO is supposed to be in charge. You don't even think about it because you see him as the man who's here representing all of heaven, and you cannot question that man. That is the trick. You've been duped. You've been hoodwinked. We all have been bamboozled, and they have played us for fools like a Spanish guitar. And now the bishop is sitting in that seat, ready to conduct a meeting? No, that's out of order. Remember, I played that clip for you all. A clip that showed the owner of a company walking into a boardroom that they called without his knowledge. He didn't know anything about it. But they're the board. The board has way more authority and way more power than anybody else in any company. The board is the boss. And if the board decides to call up a meeting and tell you to get to that meeting, then the board has all of the authority and the power to call that meeting and tell you that you need to show up and come to that meeting. And that's what the board did. However, here This CEO has given the impression that, again, when he walks in the door, the board should have been waiting on them for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours. The board should have been standing up, clapping their hands when he comes inside. After they waited, any real board of directors is going to be fuming. The board will be ready to stop that man at the door and tell him, listen, we don't even want to entertain anything you have to say right now. You kept us waiting for 2, 3 hours, and you come walking in here nonchalantly as if there's no problem. The questions that we would have asked you, we're not going to ask you. Instead, listen, I tell you what, stand right there for a moment. Just stand there. Don't even sit down. I want to make a motion right now that we vote to dismiss our current CEO for the duration of his term and have him pick up his last check next week, provided I get a second. I second that motion. All of a sudden, are you ready for question? Question. All in favor of dismissing the CEO, period. Let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Less than 1 minute. Thank you for all of your services, and thank you for leaving our office. You're dismissed. Period. But since the council has worked so hard at making the members believe that this whole thing is supposed to be ran by a bishop, he gets to sit in this seat, or better yet, he gets to, let me see, he gets to stand at the podium and he gets to tell everybody in here, if you are going to stay in this house of prayer, you are going to follow Addie, he said, Cunningham. You're going to be my child. I'm going to be your daddy. I'm going to take from you and take from you and take from you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. If you don't like it, get your hat and coat and leave. Quietly go out that door. Period. Point blank. That is all. That's that man who has demanded from everyone in this organization, including the board of directors, you are going to follow me. Why? Because you did not hire me. You cannot fire me. I'm going to be here until the day that the Heavenly Father takes me away from here. That's what he said. He just told everybody in the organization, y'all ain't getting rid of me. I get rid of you. And to prove it, the General Assembly Secretary came right behind him the following week and repeated, or a better word is parroted. Y'all know what a parrot is. Parrots repeat. He parroted, echoed, repeated the words that came from Mr. Cunningham. Anybody who don't want to follow him, they can walk right out that door. Y'all see the doors with the exit red signs above them? Now, this is the General Assembly Secretary, whose job it is to put the CEO in check. Because the CEO doesn't have no power or authority to tell anybody throughout the organization, if you're going to be here, You gonna follow me. And if you're not gonna follow me, there's the door. Every single member in here on that day should have understood full well that something has gone wrong. And to tell everyone in the organization that if you're going to be in here, you're going to follow him, the very next week, he should have been getting a notification to come to the board meeting called General Assembly, because the members should have called for a special assembly. Here's the trick. I'm going to take over and y'all going to do what I say. Just like he said in Washington, D.C., when he said he's going to raise the amounts of money that it takes for a club to get a G class number. He said, I'm going to raise that to $10,000. He said, it's time for us to make a change. And then he said, no, no, no. I make the changes. You all obey. The very next week, now that's the trick. But I'm going to tell you the treat. Y'all remember trick or treat? You either get one or the other. Well, here, you get one or the other. You either get the trick and to be satisfied with the trick and keep it, or you can take advantage of the treat. The treat is this: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. To be educated in the law and to have knowledge and understanding of the law, you will be able to detect, discern, and determine when anybody's trying to take advantage of you, when anybody's trying to pull one over. You'll be able to tell them, oh, no, 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 we're not going to do that. You said if we're going to stay here, we're going to follow you. Well, first of all, you need back up, back up, back up, slow your roll. We hired you. Now, you just said that we did not hire you. So I need you all to understand that what Mr. Cunningham did was he confessed to the entire organization that the election was no election at all, that the election was rigged. He just told everybody, you did not put me here. Y'all didn't have nothing to do with this. Y'all think you put me here, but you didn't put me here. And because I know you didn't put me here, I'm telling y'all outright right now, you did not hire me and you cannot fire me. I know who put me in that seat. And as long as they keep me in that seat, as long as I keep her happy, then y'all can think whatever y'all want to think. But I tell you one thing, you're going to stay behind me. Those are the words of Daddy Cunningham, some call him. To demand of you, not request, not ask, not even serve you, but to demand of you. Because the people don't understand that that seat where the bishop sits is not the same as the seat where the CEO sits. This is why people don't understand that they have the right and the authority to look the CEO dead in the eyes and say, wait a minute, what did you just say? We have to follow you? Are you out of your mind? What took place for you to be the boss over us? In a nonprofit 501c3, it'll never happen. So, another chair that the bishop, his seat has been deceived into being exalted by the council is when he comes into the general council, when he comes into court. And then automatically the court becomes Supreme Court by his presence. But that too is not supposed to be, because your responsibility says that that too is a conflict of interest. You sit in the highest seat. And since a 501c3 says not one person can have full control and autonomy over a nonprofit, it really doesn't matter whether the religious side or the business side. You cannot have final say over anything in here. This too is a treat for the members to understand that a bishop cannot make a conclusion that nobody can question, that nobody can judge and overrule. That too is unlawful. Members, there must be accountability in a nonprofit. You must have oversight in a nonprofit. So when you have a bishop who comes in and they walk into a room where there's men that's been set aside in order to judge cases and add a resolution to any form of conflict, and you say, well, whatever I say goes, whatever I say is final, and nobody can judge or condemn me, well, now we have a problem. Because that same group of men, they should also have the power to make a final decision. And if their decision becomes unlawful, keep in mind, you still have a board of directors. People can also appeal and go to the board of directors, and they will hear that case. And the board of directors' decision is the one that's final, because they're the ones who can hire or fire every single executive office in the organization. And since we operate a General Assembly as a board of directors, then it's the General Assembly who has all the power. But the people have been tricked, because even in court, what happens in court? As soon as the bishop come walking out, I'm calling, he's my rock, he's my rock, he's my... Same song, same old game, same old tricks. And then he comes out and people clapping, oh, Addie, 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 Addie. And then, shh, let us all pray, along with same old tricks. And he turns around in front of that seat and he waves. Look on him. You've been tricked. And now that you just saw the bishop come in, now the bishop can take his seat as judge over everybody in there. This is why I said this is the biggest con man in the entire organization, because he's the one running all the games on everybody. And the general counsel, they know that they have to follow him. If not, they're going to make Miss Madison upset. And if you get her upset, she's not going to pay you. These councilmen have been paid a lot of money to keep this show on the road, while the members of the organization sitting back, being played like a ukulele. And they're laughing at you, and they used to laugh at me, while you jump through all these hoops and lift this man up. And that one man is sitting in 3 seats. It's the same as, imagine President Biden or President Obama or President Bush President Trump. Imagine him, any of the presidents, leaving the White House and going to the Supreme Court, and they put on a black robe. And now you got President Biden sitting over the Supreme Court, or President Obama, or President Bush, or President Trump. They're sitting over the Supreme Court, and now the entire Supreme Court has to listen to them, and they have the final say. And whatever they say, go. Nobody can question them. Imagine that president going into Congress and just changing the laws of Congress, passing any bill that they want. Nobody can question them. Nobody can do anything about it because, after all, they have the final say. They leave the legislative branch, which is Congress, and go back to the executive branch, which is the White House. They leave the executive branch and then go to the judicial branch, which is Supreme Court. And they keep going to all three, sitting in the seat to have control. They sit in the seat of executive power, of judicial power, and legislative power, and control everything in it. People, this is unlawful. This is illegal. And the members are the ones who have allowed it for all these years because we have not learned how this law works. We did not know that these councilmen and these bishops have been lying to us, deceiving us, and taking advantage of our ignorance while they collect all this money and completely strip the laws of the house of prayer and take every single power away from the people. Over the years, while we're singing these songs, I'm calling Addie, he's my rock. He's your rock in the morning, your rock late at night, your rock in the noonday, while he's taking every single penny out of your pocket and writing laws that take the power away from you and give more and more and more power to themselves. And Mr. Cunningham, this man was doing this for the last 16, 17, 18 years now, writing laws and writing more laws because he knew one day he was going to be in that seat if nobody stopped him. And the only one that was there to stop him was me and my wife, who he has so far successfully been able to keep outside of these meetings so that these issues could not be raised. So, with this in mind, understand the three chairs are supposed to be filled by three different people. One person is not supposed to ever sit in every seat. The chair inside of the General Assembly is not even supposed to be for a bishop. The chair in the General Assembly is supposed to be for the General Assembly Secretary, who acts as a chairman of the board. The General Assembly Secretary right now and his assistant, Mr. Jimmy Jones, they have been working for Mr. Cunningham. And if you don't know, now you know, since last year. And anytime the General Assembly Secretary tells the whole organization, if y'all don't like him, then y'all can walk out the door. That's the one thing that you needed to hear to get that man out of there fast. Because now we understand that the pattern, which has been consistent over the last 80 some years, has been that these bishops have used people on a Constitution Revision Committee and selected, handpicked a man from the General Council who would be the General Assembly Secretary, who would push those rules that they change through the General Assembly while making the people in the organization believe that they're the ones that change the law. And that's exactly how Mr. Jimmy Jones has been working. That's exactly how Mr. Cunningham worked over the last 18 and a half years. That's exactly how men before him had these laws changed time and time and time again. Every time these books were amended, they were not amended by the people, they were amended by bishops, lying to everyone and deceiving everybody in here. through the use of general councilmen working hand in hand with General Assembly secretaries to keep the people blinded, to keep the people fooled, to keep the people in line behind a man that they claim is his servant, while you being robbed the entire time, while you're being tricked and fooled and deceived and manipulated the entire time. Now, these are some harsh words that I'm using, but though they are harsh, we still need to hear it because the truth hurts, but the pain is necessary to fix what's broken. If a child falls off of a swing and they dislocate their shoulder, by the time they get to the hospital, that shoulder might not be hurting as bad as it was. But in order for the doctor to fix what went wrong, they're going to have to instill pain in that child. They're going to have to move the shoulder in such a way that it's going to be excruciating in order to put it back into place and fix it. So sometimes pain is necessary in order to fix what's been broken so that we can get back in line and no longer be out of line. Here's the point that I'm making. If a shoulder is dislocated in that child, and you as a parent say, no, I don't want to hurt them, let it stay that way. We're okay with a dislocated shoulder. It's fine. They can still play. They'll get used to it. Let them alone. We don't want to cause them more harm or hurt or pain. They've been hurt enough. They've had enough pain. They've endured enough pain. But anybody with common sense will tell that parent, no, are you crazy? You can't not let them fix what's been gone wrong. You can't leave the dislocated shoulder. You can't leave that where it is because now, if it stays, it's going to cause even more problems in the future. And the problems that it causes in the future is going to cause more and more and more and more and more pain. But if you deal with the pain now of fixing it, then that pain will go away as the child heals. And the healing process might be a little while, but we have pain medication for that. They'll be okay. But if you leave it alone, it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem. So that said, the third part of the board, the chairman, and the CEO is for us to understand that there is not only a difference between the positions, but there's a difference between the chairs. The chair of the bishop running service up there on that platform, that's one thing. The chair of a judge judging a case, that's another thing. And the man who sits up there on that platform should never be sitting in that seat to judge anybody, because there is not one man on earth who knows everything and who should be deciding everything or who should even be attempting to resolve everything. Even Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, told him, this is too hard for one man to do alone. You need help. Why are we going backwards instead of learning from the scripture? When Moses went to the father, he told him, listen to him. This is wise counsel. He said, go and get 70 men that met certain criteria, and I'm going to take of your spirit and put them on them. Now, this is not what's going on today, because the father didn't send Mr. Cunningham the same way the father never sent Mr. Grace. None of these men leading this organization or any other organization has been sent by the Father. His house is done. He doesn't want, nor does he need us giving money inside of a building and calling it sacrifices. As we prepare to close out, the point that I'm making is this. Moses did exactly what he was told, and Moses now could rest because he had help. Now, we're supposed to have all these men in all these positions around the organization. Why do y'all think nothing can get done? Because every time you turn around, everybody says, I need to check with, I need to hear from, I haven't gotten my call from. You call headquarters, can never get a call through. Decisions can't be made. Maintenance takes them 8 years to do something that should have taken 2 weeks. There's houses right now with repairs that have been in need of repairs for 5 or even 10 years. And as long as Mr. Bishop is not going there, and it's not just Mr. Cunningham that did this, I'm not going to put this on his shoulders. We've seen a whole lot of problems with this bishop, the last bishop, the bishop before him. And some say, well, wait a minute, he rebuilt every house of prayer. Yes, he did. But before you realized it, many of those brand new houses of prayers were faulty with broken equipment. Things were breaking up and not working and functioning correctly. This is why y'all see around the organization, baptism pools not working, electrical shortages, electrical failures. Beautiful on the outside, but some shoddy work on the inside. And my point is that you have one person trying to run this entire organization. It doesn't work that way, and it's illegal. The easy fix, people, once again, here's your treat, is for the members to understand who you are, what the law says about the authority that you have as a General Assembly, and not to ask no questions, not to make any requests, because the authority is yours to stand up and say what you are going to vote on. And all it takes is a person to put a vote out there and then somebody else to second it. And then when the vote is held, all it takes is everybody else. I'm in favor. Now, many people have this thing where they're unsure, they're fearful, they're afraid, they don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But here's your problem. Anything is better than this. Anything is better than this. We have right now men, you don't know what they're doing, you don't know where they are, you don't know what decisions are being made, you don't know where money is going, you don't know what money is being spent, you have no access to anything, there's zero transparency, there's zero accountability, there's nothing but a bunch of rumors, there's nothing but a bunch of gossip, everybody doing everything and nobody doing anything to stop or prevent it. And the members, you love this? This is good for us? We have now become the laughing stock in the religious spectrum. People look at us and run the other way. It is obvious that things cannot get any worse in here. And now you have this whole thing where people have nothing but suspicions about all kinds of other activities. The members in here, you need to know this whole thing just like that. And I'm going to be telling you exactly what you need to do to fix this. Now, I've given you quite a bit already, but I'm going to tell you exactly what to say. I'm going to tell you exactly how to say it. And we're going to go through Robert's Rules of Order to explain to you what must be done, how easily it is to get it done, and what the people who's making their way to the General Assembly need to do in order to have it done. First and foremost, you all need to put in the back of your mind to never, ever again go into a General Assembly or any other meeting where you are not hearing the minutes being read. If you don't know what's in the minutes, then how can you officially conduct any business? These men not only have been keeping everything from you, but they've been covering up everything that they've been keeping from you. And they're extremely nervous about what I bring to the table. Because what if, just what if, there were 100 people like me making their way to that General Assembly? And the reality is, all it takes is a few. One to put out a motion, another to second it, while the General Assembly secretary who's conducting the meeting puts it to a vote. I'm going to show you how to do all of this. And it's not going to take long. I'm going to give you a handful of jewels. Y'all going to have some gems. You might want to be prepared with a pen and a pad for tomorrow when I come back. In the afternoon, we might have 4 or 5 videos that I do back to back. And I wanted to cover that speech that he gave this past Sunday in Virginia. I need you all to understand, he keeps telling you all to not watch the videos, but we know he's watching the videos. In fact, that speech that he gave Sunday evening about you can run, but you can't hide. If you watch the Bible study that we did this past Saturday, if you listen and watch the Bible study that we did on our channel this past Saturday, you will find that Mr. Cunningham took information out of that Bible study, and that's what he used for his so-called sermon on Sunday. Now, Mr. Cunningham, the point is, if you don't have anything to give to the people, let it be known. It's quite obvious that you have nothing but either lies or things coming from other people to give to the members, because they're seeing right through you. If the house of prayer leadership and your behaviors and your conduct and your decision making and your actions are not transparent, there's one thing that is transparent, and that's you as a leader, the general council, as leaders, pastors, chairmen, as leaders, the bishop, as leaders, even Mr. Dolores Madison. You all are transparent. People see right through you. They see through your lies now. They know that you're guilty of a whole lot of corruption. They know that your hands are full of dirt. There's absolutely zero trust that anybody can give to you. And Mr. Cunningham, you've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, as well as a reasonable doubt, that your word cannot be trusted whatsoever at all. After all the things that you said you're going to do for the members, after all the things that you said you're going to do for the organization, and yet you come through with absolutely nothing. Now, mind you, that's not the reason why you need to be gone. The reason why you need to be gone is because you were never qualified in the first place to have your name even mentioned. But you got on the ball real quick to make sure that you put yourselves there, because you knew that me and my wife, we knew everything that you and Mr. Bailey had done, along with Mickey Bailey, Judge Cuthbert, Jimmy Jones. All of you knew that y'all had deceived everybody in here. And now you're trying to ride it out as long as you can, as long as these members keep their eyes shut and ignore the fact, which they really know, that you're dealing with corruption at the top of our leadership. You're dealing with liars and thieves and manipulators. And they're only holding on to you right now because they've been deceived into believing the man who sat down in the chair was put there by him. But word is slowly going out, and these videos are slowly being circulated. And as the choir sizes get smaller and smaller, and as the band members begin to wake up and realize that all they're doing is being exploited and extorted by you, and they're helping to push the lies and the manipulation of the organization, as they continue to wake up and understand that this whole thing has to be fixed because they're the biggest ones being taken advantage of. When it's finally done, then the members will be able to see what this organization could have been from day one. And there's many people praying right now, waiting so that they can see for themselves just how effective and impactful we can be to communities all over the country and perhaps even around the world. But until you get up out of that seat and these general councilmen and that General Assembly secretary are removed, then the members are going to continue to feel suffocated because you're draining them for every single oxygen uh, uh, drop of blood and every single uh, breath of oxygen that you can take. So, my hope is that we can continue making everybody aware. This is not to insult anyone. This is just to allow you all to know what the truth is. And the saddest thing is, as I get ready to close out, the saddest thing is the fact that you put yourself in a position to dare judge other people as if you're worthy to judge any case. You are the most corrupt, the most crooked, along with that group of men that we call the General Council and y'all's leader, Miss Dolores Madison. I'm eagerly looking forward to the day that we bring all of this to a close so that we can clean up this organization of all this filth and this dirt that y'all have swept under rugs all around the place that the members have yet to even learn all of the details about. So as we continue going forward, I've been doing a lot to not share everything while waiting for the outside regulating agencies to make their determination. Um, I'm told, let me go ahead and read the comments. Um, the Lives of Him and Her says, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining in tonight. Please take a moment to subscribe, share, and thumbs up the video. Email address is we stand for right 2024 at gmail.com. Thank you so much, The Lives of Him and Her. Be nay, 1000% correct. The truth and nothing but the truth. Thank you, absolutely. The Lives of Him and Hers at Be nay, 100%. Yes, talking about how the General Council has been used to manipulate the members by getting them to keep their eyes on that chair. Bine, suppressing the poor for a make-believe blessing, 100%. And we talked about how Isaiah says this as well, where the father was angry with the leaders because the leaders were oppressing the people of Israel, and taking and robbing from the poor, and all of their things was in their homes. Blanche says, in all my years of seeing at least 3 bishops, would it be safe to say I'm seeing the most corrupt bishop in his admin? Is he the evil incarnate? All I can say is eyes wide shut. Get it? Yeah. A lot of the members are walking around with their eyes wide shut, not because many people don't want to know that what they believed in all this time is wrong. In fact, that's what I was going to talk about tonight, and it just went another direction. But I'm going to cover that tomorrow. People don't want to believe that what they believed in was wrong, but that's exactly where we are. People's entire lives, over 45 years of my life, and I was deceived. And to see a man that I was close to completely change the way that he has changed and to see how they're just gung ho now. Look, it's all out in the open. Instead of getting cleaned up, we're just going to go for it. It doesn't even matter that people know that we're doing wrong and what we're doing. We're just going to go for it. I've never seen anything this bad. Never, never like this. We're still finding out things as far as whether he was is the most corrupt. I can't say because I'm still getting information. Individuals have confirmed for me some things yesterday. In fact, these things have been going across the entire leadership. Whereas I was saying before that there's some that I had not heard, the entire leadership. It's now confirmed, the entire leadership. And some of us, we don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. And you want to call me? Some people have called to lash out because they couldn't believe it. And by the time we got off of that phone call, they're 100% for what we're doing. Because I don't just say things, I give evidence of things. And I don't want to be talking about all this stuff out here like this. But Mr. Cunningham and the council, what choice have we left when they continue doing what they're doing and expecting the members to continue just laying down and just taking it? No, 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 no. Members are waking up and they're jumping over that fence so that we can fix and clean this organization up. This is about the organization that we love. And Mr. Cunningham has done a fine job, as well as the council, of trying to divide this organization just to get people to support them and defend their actions to keep them from being brought forward and held accountable. Many of y'all being told things about me in Texas and other places that I couldn't keep my hand from the women, or I had sticky fingers and I was stealing money. Listen, when they have nothing on you, they will do everything they can to discredit your name. But you don't see them saying it openly. You don't see anybody openly calling me a thief. You don't see anybody openly saying that I'm messing around with women. You don't see anybody openly accusing me of anything, nothing. While I can easily call them thieves, and I can call names, I can call times and dates, I can call witnesses, I can call them fornicators. Some of them I can say playing both sides, and a lot of you all can as well. These things ought not be with a group of people who's leading a religious organization, only to find out that the things that we believed in all of our lives, for most of us, many of us, are complete lies. And now that it's coming out, they continue to try to push it. Not one of these men can stand in front of me and accuse me. Not one. I've challenged every single man in that organization. Not one. Not one. If you can find a woman that I laid down with in that organization, then bring them forward. You have men who are doing all kinds of things to hide while we're doing all kinds of things to come forward and bring people forward. Nothing that they can say will undo what's coming. And so rather than come forward, they keep trying to hide in the dark. And that's why you don't see Mr. Cunningham coming forward. You don't see the council coming forward. Where's Mr. Jimmy Jones? Where is Mr. Taylor? Who consistently, we have such, it's an embarrassment dealing with our leaders. In the public eye, we have leaders calling people clowns. Leaders calling people haters. This is not anything to do with an insult. This is not anything to do with hatred. The reason why we have the channel is because you all blocked every attempt to come forward in front of the people like our law says we're supposed to do. That's the whole reason why you're sitting in the chair, is so that people can come forward and be held accountable. You busy holding other people accountable according to what you say. You trying to hold other people accountable, you find people thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You've handed out hundreds, if not thousands of fines. You've held people to the strictest of laws when they've done nothing. You've embarrassed people on the floor. You've humiliated people. You've made fun of people. People who were just and holy and righteous, you made fun of. This is why I talked about the one time that I found out way later that you even talked about my mother as a joke. Fortunate that we weren't around to get a cheap laugh from a table asking, how did she get to California? Did she walk? What kind of example are you? It Many people are embarrassed by the leadership that we have. And you sit here in a white suit, trying to look as pristine as you possibly can, knowing that you're full of all kinds of dirt. And so you say nothing, but saying nothing is not helping you. The members have seen forms with your signature and the signature of other bishops filed in the government records that don't add up. It shows the liars that you all are. It shows the corruption inside of the organization. And now members are just fed up. They're so sick and tired of hearing all this junk that they're hearing. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. While you sit there and still lie and lie and lie, telling them to trust, 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 trust. I'm telling the people, stop listening. Come out, vote. Don't listen to no more lies. Stop looking up in the front, depending on men who you know are corrupt and only protecting each other. Don't even get mad. There's no need to get angry. No need to be mad. Go out and vote. That's how I try to fix it. I'm not going to get mad. Go vote. That's how you fix it. Vote. And then once you fixed it, then the organization can do what it needs to do and go from there. Fixing it means you take away every single thing that they've worked so hard to hide, to cover up, and to lie about. And that will be the beginning. Because when the outside comes in, I'm not even going to go into that list of nightmares for them. So once again, absolutely be nice. Suppressing the poor for a make-believe blessing. Blanche, all your years, is he the most corrupt? I can't say, because I've heard and got evidence now to support so much about all of these leaders. I can't even bring myself to telling you all or even showing you the evidence yet. It's so disturbing. And it's a shame that our members want to sit here and defend people that they don't even know is going on behind their backs. When you people find out what's been done, y'all are going to be embarrassed to even say you're a member of this organization with these leaders sitting in the front. There's people who won't come in because they know who these men are and what they're doing outside in that world. Blanche says, all I saw after McCullough was men. Oh, I actually saw were men who were like Pharisees, and I didn't trust any of them because they were two-faced talk. Yeah, the council set each other up. They set people up. They lie on people left and right. Mr. Cunningham does the same exact thing. Mr. Cunningham is sitting here. I have you on record claiming that other people are doing what you do every day. Lying on people, lying behind their backs, you lie to people and you lie on people every day. And I'm not hiding the fact that I'm talking about you. I'm telling you. And if you would allow me to come to a meeting If you put on there that Mr. Lewis, come to this meeting that I'm going to set up for the members of the organization, for them to see me and you talk. I know it'll never happen because you know as good as I do that I'm going to expose you for who you are. You know that. But the members don't know that. And so the members keep on asking, well, why won't you meet? Members, look at the evidence in front of you. Use some common sense. He won't meet with me for going on a year and a half of videos now because he's obviously wrong, lying, and guilty. I'm chasing him all over the place. Open your eyes. We need to take the opportunity to go into these meetings and use the law. All it takes is one. The entire organization can be fixed in less than 1 hour. Go in, come out, a few other votes, 1 single hour. It takes less than 10 to 15 minutes to be rid of the council, to be rid of the General Assembly secretary, and to be rid of this man who is a fake bishop who rigged the election to put himself in the seat. And then all the evidence that comes afterwards, you all will be more than glad that you voted them out. Again, I'm going to show you how to do it. In the meantime, Blanche says, unexcused absence if you didn't call when I was on a club. Right. Yet I would get there before the president who had been in the position for over 20 years. It makes no sense for a president to be a president in the House of Prayer for over 20 years. That makes no sense. Something's not right. Unless you followed all the rules, something's not right. For a bishop to come in whenever he feels like it, and he's never late, obviously something's not right. It's because they're covering for one another. But if you're late, what happens to you? What happens to the people who's late in the General Assembly? They hold them back at the door. They fine them money. But how is it that the bishop gets open door service? And he's told to come on in and y'all singing songs and clapping your hands. People, you got to wake up. Bine says he's running the table on all the members. Yes, he is. Members don't know they're being played. This is so sad. I guess they will keep drinking the Kool-Aid. No, people are waking up. People's eyes are opening up. But yeah, for the longest time, that's why I keep using myself as an example, because I didn't have anybody showing me the laws. I didn't have anybody opening this up. I didn't have anybody making videos. We never had this. If I did have anybody making videos showing us this, I would have joined in with them and I would have amplified their voice. I would have walked around this organization and spread the news to everybody. We would have gotten this thing done within that very next year. I've been at this now since 2023. This is 2026. That means Mr. Cunningham has been running for nearly 3 years away from us, knowing what's going to happen. You know that your days are numbered. Bine says, you're speaking nothing but the truth, Brother Lewis. Thank you. Members take a stand. Yes, stop falling for these games. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what we're asking for everybody to wake up, pay attention. All it takes is a few. Again, we're going to show you we have nothing but time. Lady Tiffany, the man of many hats. Yes, the man who stole many hats because the hats that he was wearing were unlawful. You can't have a congressman in Congress who's also a president or a vice president or the chief of staff on the president's staff who's also a judge in the court. But remember, Mr. Cunningham served on all three. He was a judge in the general council. He was the senior minister of the organization. That's executive power. And he was the General Assembly Secretary. That's legislative power. I keep telling y'all, you got to learn. It's just like the federal government. You got Congress, Supreme Court, and the White House. Mr. Cunningham already had those three in the palm of his hands. He was working the whole system behind the scenes. Nobody even knew about it. Why he laughing at all y'all, especially me. All the shouting I was doing. And now he got Mr. Murray. These two are beneficial owners of the organization. Anybody knows anything about insurance? The person who's going to benefit from that insurance policy, the one who it's going to come to, they're called the beneficiary. Mr. Cunningham has named Mr. Murray as the other beneficial owner of the organization. Mind you, there's not supposed to be a person who's the beneficial owner of the organization. The organization is supposed to be owned by the organization. And the organization is supposed to serve the people and anybody outside that the board of directors approves of as a nonprofit. Never have you seen it happen. And for everybody who's protecting or supporting Mr. Cunningham and this council, you are the ones preventing this organization from being what it's supposed to be. And you're seeing to it that Mr. Cunningham and his council gets in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper as the authorities are reviewing this information to determine whether or not they're going to come in here. Pay attention. Bine, this is a religious scam at its finest. Absolutely it is a religious scam. It's just like a pyramid scheme where a handful of people at the top benefits, but everybody at the bottom, mm-mm. The lies of him and her. Says a bishop with the CEO's power is a conflict of interest. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When one person controls both faith and finances, oversight vanishes. Right. We must demand transparency and separate these roles to restore order. Right there. There it is. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And it should have never crossed in the first place. Should have never crossed in the first place. Blanche says, well, I guess the White House is taking their cues from me. Oh, boy. It looks like, I was surprised. I got a picture. Somebody was saying that the Pope issued a statement about what U.S. policy is doing right now. And this statement from the Pope could actually be applied to Mr. Cunningham, because the things that the Pope is saying is about people like Mr. Cunningham doing what he's doing. And the Pope is slamming him, talking about how decisions are being made and there's zero transparency and nothing but a bunch of secrets. Anyway, Mr. What Do You Believe? How's it going? Dr. Lewis, your ad libs on my childhood classic worship songs is outstanding. Yeah, man. He's my rock. They wear that song out to get the people to put their trust in the man. And here's the man saying, don't trust in no man. And this is what I'm saying. They tell you to put your trust in him. He tells you trust him. That's the trick. Why isn't he telling them to tell you to trust him? The bishop not telling the pastors and the chairmen to tell y'all to trust him. He telling y'all through them to put y'all's trust in him. He already said he's a God. He said he's represents the second coming. I can go on and on and on. Mr. Cunningham wants worship and praise. And he also wants to keep this money and control of the organization. And he wants to keep that Maybach or Maybachs now. He want to keep all those alligator skin shoes. He want to keep all those, not all of them, because he'll auction some of them off. Those custom made suits. It's just a slap in our faces. But absolutely, Mr. What do you believe? Lady Tiffany says, while they were marching down the street for the cherry blossom, they should be marching to find out about the laws, the real laws of the UHOP. Yeah, our bands, unfortunately, don't realize, just like the security and the choirs, what's going on. They're just there. Bands just want to play their music. Choirs just want to perform and sing. Security, they're there for their reasons. The thing is, unfortunately, this organization knows that people love recognition. So they know all you got to do is just talk about them a little bit, scratch their backs a little bit, lift them up a little bit, make them feel good, and it keeps them coming. But people, you have to look past the feeling good and stop looking for recognition, because doing that is going to cause all the things that you say that you've done for him to be for naught. Nothing comes of it. So at any rate, the people who are not learning, who's ignoring, he has them. Those who are, there's still weeks left. People will still be passing these videos around. And we're going to lay out crystal clear this week the law. And I'm going to be walking you through the law. I'm going to show you in the law how Mr. Cunningham deceived everybody. I'm going to show you in the law the changes that he's made. I'm going to show you in the law how he protected himself, knowing that he's going to be in that seat because it was rigged. And I'm going to show you why he's done all these things so that he can use his image to completely manipulate and deceive everybody in here. The man for the last 18 years has had his eyes on that chair while working behind everybody's back, including Mr. Bailey's back. And I'm going to show you that too. So at any rate, get a notebook. You want to take plenty of notes, or just keep reviewing the videos. But your notes you want, because I'm going to be telling you exactly, again, what to say, how to say it, so that this whole thing can be undone. The lies of him and her. Welcome, everyone. Please join in and show your support by giving a thumbs up to help share the truth and facts that Brother Lewis is sharing tonight. Email address, we stand for right, 2024@gmail.com. Thank you again, the lies of him and her. We appreciate you. Baby Blue says, hello, everyone, and to the family. Blanche, the picture you keep showing depicts a look of a completely arrogant man looking as though he thinks he's so untouchable. Well, that's exactly, this is pride. This is pride. He's proud. And in his mind, I'm sure, I don't know whether that was taken last year. I'm sure it was. But last year, this is 2025. No, it's taken 24. Last year, he knew I was writing letters, the 2024, and he knew I was coming after him in the General Assembly. So what he didn't know is who in the organization is aware that he's doing what he's doing. He's not aware of who knows of his lies. He doesn't know who knows of his manipulation. He doesn't know who can see through him now. Again, all the pretty clothes, that doesn't mean anything. Solomon, the Messiah talked about Solomon. But even if he looked like Solomon, even if that's the case, Solomon built temples to idols. So what? You have nice clothes on. That doesn't mean a thing. And all of this stuff is just to deceive you, to make you believe in him. That's why all of this, the honorable, that's not honorable. This is despicable. And to maintain the faith of our Lord and Savior, this is despicable. On the truth and facts, this is a liar above liars. And when I talk about him, I have nothing to hide, but y'all don't see him doing anything about it, because this man knows that the words I speak are nothing but truth and facts. And the words in this book is just like him: lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. And it's unfortunate. But these are the ones that need to be taken down with the quickness, because when you can do stuff like this and put pictures of yourself, these great, big, gigantic pictures of yourself all over the place, just so people can fall in love with your image while you call yourself a god, all of these things, it makes you worse than any other person or any other type of person. Because you can so easily lie, knowing that you're lying. And to have a face like this is only to deceive. But that's how he works, while he's hiding in the shadows. If you are nothing but about truth and facts, if you're wearing white suits and beautiful clothes, got all these security personnel, hide the most expensive cars, big houses, why is it that you do everything that you can to keep one person out of a meeting? If you are traveling all around the organization, so-called teaching and teaching and preaching, if you're doing all of that and somebody say yeah, and people just saying yes, not knowing what they're saying yes to, all he's doing is yelling, screaming, and taking money. No one has yet answered the question, what services are being provided by the bishops of the organization to the people? No one has answered that question. No one has looked into the compensation of the bishop. See, all these things are incriminating, and he knows what's coming. I can keep saying it. You all don't have to believe it. Councilman, I know you're watching. I know you're watching. And it's bothersome for me that you all are ignoring all of this. I know that some of you are scared to death. I know you're terrified right now, and you feel stuck and you can't give in. I understand some of you are breaking down at home, crying behind closed doors. as you're trying to prepare for what's coming, not knowing every single day that passes by can be that day where it's over for you. While y'all look forward to what? The rest of your lives? The rest of your lives? You're losing your freedoms, you're losing your liberties just because you're all holding on to a bunch of secrets to cover up for people who don't love you. They mean nothing to you. You mean nothing to them other than just trying to keep each other's secrets so that all the dirt doesn't come spilling out. But if that's the burden that you like to carry, then okay, you've made your choice. But as for me and people like me who are sincere about standing up for what's right and for truth and for justice and for fairness and equality and for this word that y'all are lying to every single person about as you try so desperately hard to make them believe in a man that you know is a liar and a manipulator as well, that you know is a deceiver, while you keep on telling yourself it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Trying to convince yourself that you're not going to have to stand before the Father on the day of judgment. I do not understand how you can live with yourselves or how you can even walk in front of a mirror other than what the scripture has said. And my hope is that you have not yet been turned over to a reprobate mind. But that's not my affair. That's between you as well as our Father. You need to take these words under advisement and know that this whole thing is coming to an end. I know you feel it, and you can keep on following behind Mr. Cunningham all you want to. He's not going to save you. Nothing you're doing right now is going to save you. Miss Madison is not going to pay her way out of this. Mr. Cunningham is not going to pay his way out of this. None of you are going to pay your way out of this. Your money will be of no use to you. That's all I'm going to say about that. In the meantime, the picture you keep showing, Blanche is spot on about the Pope and the coalition. Yes, absolutely. We are aware. People are aware. People are listening. People are paying attention. And so, with all of that in mind, word is still going out. Y'all looking at these numbers on the screen like it's just a handful of people. Y'all have no idea. There's groups of people watching these videos. Some people got 10 people with them, others have 20. Y'all don't know how many people are watching. More importantly, you don't know how many people are talking about it on the phones. Same thing when it comes to TikTok. The point is that word is going out and that we're now at that point where it's over. The house of prayer and the lies that have been told here by the leaders and the men who's trying to keep these lies going, it's all over. It's coming to an end. The organization can be saved, which we're trying to save the organization. But you keep lying to the people, making them think that we're trying to destroy the house of prayer as an organization. No, we're trying to save it. We're trying to save the organization. The house of prayer has become something that you all made it, a den of thieves. Just like the Messiah said, you have made his Father's house. In other words, it's no longer a house of prayer. The temple at that time, which it was the house of prayer, at that time, the temple had been converted in the eyes of the Father. They're still doing what they're doing. They're going through the motions, but in the eyes of the Father, the leaders, the priests themselves, has converted it in his eyes into a den of thieves. He saw them and those men as nothing more than a common thief. And that's what you all are. Doing everything y'all can to hold on to the money and to hold on to the positions that require you to sit there in order to control the money. Common thieves. Tiffany, peace, Brother Lewis. My question has always been, what does the UHOP as a nonprofit say they do? Their mission, for example, Lupus Foundation serves lupus research. Exactly. The House of Prayer, the leaders did not come up with anything that they have told the government that they do to serve the public. Nothing at all. They've only said, as a nonprofit, what we do is build more houses of prayers where people can come and gather for worship. That's all they're saying. They're not saying that they're taking on any specific need in society. They're not saying that we're trying to feed the poor, that we're trying to house the homeless. They're not saying we're going after individuals for anything at all. Not one thing. It's just we're building houses of prayers. And that too has been proven to be a lie because they're not. They're not. I would be surprised if half of these houses of prayers, half of them right now, has more than 20 people. I would be surprised. I know many of them. We got about 137. We have near, if not more than 70 congregations that don't have 20 people. That's not a fact. I'm guessing. But I know many houses with less than 20. I know several houses with less than 10. I know several with less than 5. Several houses of prayers, less than 5 people. And all this man is doing is just like the others, going around to collect money. The Messiah was outside. The disciples was outside teaching people, teaching. What is this man doing? Is he traveling around outside to teach anybody anything? Is he teaching anybody anything? He has nothing to teach. He has nothing to preach. His message is to the world that he is the Father's prophet in the land today. That's his message. And it's a bald-faced lie. That's why I told Mr. Cunningham, I told you, you better not say, as he is your witness. You can't say, as the Creator is your witness, as the Father in heaven is your witness. You can't say those words. You can't say it. All you do is say things around it like, I know he's with me, I know who's with me, and stuff like that. But you can't say that he is your witness. You can't say that the begotten Son is your witness. The only begotten of the Father is your witness. You can't say the exact same words that I say. I'm specific. I'm not speaking in riddles. I'm specific. And if the members can't see through this joke of what you call sermons, then it's because they don't want to see. We have members that are looking the other way intentionally because they don't want to. And for the people, all of you who is watching, for the people in your families and friends and households, if they don't want to look at what's true, then it's because they're not yet ready to do us right. People hold on to wrongdoing because they are doing wrong themselves. They don't want to do us right. And when it comes to the gospel, the false gospel in here, there's a handful of people that have been indoctrinated to the extent that they really, really, really believe in these men. But in order to hold on to that belief, you have to still reject truth. And if you have his spirit will tell you that this doctrine is false. If you ask him to tell or show you what this doctrine is, if this is really his or not, he will show you, just like any other false doctrine where anybody is promoting a man leading people in this day and time. There is no such thing. I'm currently getting my chemo. My nurse said Daddy Cunningham's a big liar and a bald-headed thief. Yeah, see, right there. Um, Even staff, people that are not members of the House of Prayer, they can look at all this and tell. They know, they're looking at it. Uh, at Tiffany. Okay, I'm wondering, are the independent living facilities for senior elders a mission? No, that's not a mission either. That's another scam. Unfortunately, our senior citizens are being taken advantage of. There is no concern and no care for anybody at all in this organization, period and point blank, by the leadership. Y'all hear how I'm talking? I'm saying things as a matter of factly. And I can continue to say as it's my opinion, but I'm not shying away from my opinions. And many of my opinions, I'm showing you evidence to support my opinion, but I'm also saying that the outside, their job is to regulate. They come in and look at this and they'll have to regulate it. Um, and to be fair, unfortunately, they feel the mission has been met, right? With the numerous UHOP built, even with the small numbers in each house. No, no, people are being lied to. People are being lied to when they say, well, we're meeting our mission. That's a complete lie. In fact, write down so that you can remind me in the next video to go over the income for the House of Prayer. They're setting up income streams all over the organization that y'all don't know anything about. And so when our people look at the income for the House of Prayer that people are giving, they say, well, how else are we supposed to pay bills? The members have no idea. They've been lied to and deceived so much. Mr. Cunningham gives this impression, just like Miss Madison, like the House of Prayer is in need. Every single thing they do, they ask the members to give more money, give money for this, money for this, money for this. Every single thing, every fundraiser in this organization, they have been using it as a scam. Every single fundraiser. The Scholastic Achievement Award is a scam. The McCullough Scholarship Fund is another scam. I'm going to show y'all with House of Prayer literature that these are scams. They think they know what they're doing. But anybody who has any accounting knowledge, I took accounting, but for my first time telling you all, I took accounting. I took accounting, 2 courses in accounting. Um, Anybody that knows anything about accounting can tell you of an absolute fact that there's a lot of scandalizing going on with the money in here. Anybody that knows tort law or contract law can tell you, looking at the way things are set up, there's a lot of scandalizing scams going on in here. Anybody that knows anything about, listen, contracts, contract negotiations, if you understand etymology, the study and the breakdown of words, anybody can tell you, looking at how the books are written in this organization by these bishops, if you know anything about law and procedure, policies, creating legislation at all, which is why I'm shocked because Mr. Murray is a lobbyist. The man knows how this stuff works, but it's of no surprise that he's quiet. Mr. Murray not saying nothing because Mr. Murray, he knows that he got it good right now, even though stuff is coming out about him and his name on this paperwork. I'm gonna tell y'all something else. Start checking every single state the House of Prayer is operating in. See what y'all come up with. See, they're terrified because stuff is being exposed all over the place and they can't do nothing to hide it. I said before, you cannot unscramble a scrambled egg. And the stuff that they've been doing all over the place, that's why these councilmen are angry because some of them got involved and now they're about to get burned. because you can't cover it. The stuff that's being uncovered, you can't do anything to fix it. It's been done. What's been done is done. And what has been done is what's going to be used against them. So, people, absolutely, it's a scam. Our members, listen, I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. I'm trying to make you aware. I'm trying to get you to understand, opening up your eyes, you will see that people, every one of us have been lied to and deceived. It's just that simple. If you don't believe it today, you will believe it tomorrow. So I'm not concerned about people who don't want to know, don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. That's all fine, well and good. But when the news comes, what are you going to do when people get taken out of here and they cannot be made available because they're under investigation? I guarantee you at that time, just like right now, you don't hear nobody talking about Virginia. You don't hear nobody talking about North Carolina. Ain't nobody talking about Miami. No one's talking about California. Nobody. You don't hear people talking the way they used to talk about the House of Prayer events. Oh, we had a time, we had a. Nobody. Even in the recordings, you can hear how faint. You can hear the doubt. You can hear how people looking at him and questioning him. You can hear his voice stammering. You can hear the uncertainty in his own voice. The only ones who's yelling and screaming louder than anybody else is the councilman, while they try to convince the people to still believe in this man. How can you convince people to believe in somebody when all the facts are coming out about them? So, you all, I'm just telling you, just keep watching, stay diligent, stay prayed up. You keep doing what you're supposed to do. Don't worry about this stuff, all this stuff that's being said. Pay it no mind. And I'll be back, if it's our Father's will, tomorrow. And we're going to dump a lot on you tomorrow. So, with that in mind, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a beautiful night. And for those of you who have work or school or whatever in the morning, I hope that you have a wonderful rising and that you have a beautiful day. And we hope to see you back tomorrow for those of you who can make it. If not, then we'll see you next time. Until that time, take care, everybody. And once again, have a wonderful night.